What's up, guys? Welcome to Diving Deep Across the Generations. Today's topic is sports. I'm your host, Xiaoyet, and this is your co-host.
Hello.
Today's special guest is CJ.
Hi, what's up?
So before we go into the deeper topics, we're just gonna do one topic just to get to know about you. So this topic is
Question
is what's your favorite sport to watch but you never play?
So my favorite sport to watch, definitely not play, is hockey.
Dude, sing.
Love
Like,
hockey.
you know, the hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's go Utah Grizzlies.
What about you, Ella? What's your favorite sport to watch?
Hockey.
Yeah, I just
Hockey's
love the fights. I need the fights.
But it's more than just the fights, though.
I know, but the fights is the funnest
slamming
part.
into the boards and.
Fights are the funnest part.
I like watching the warm-ups. It's pretty funny.
I don't watch them for much.
Oh, it's pretty funny. Because they're stretching. So, like, you have the goalie and, like, the goaltender and the forwards and the defense stretching on the ice. And sometimes it's the funniest thing.
Oh, like when they're like,
yeah!
It's funny.
No, it's like,
It's like
they're doing that and they're stretching out their legs. And so, oh, it's the funniest thing.
No, like it's just
It's
absolutely
great.
Yeah, and then when some of the goalies, I'll see them doing it well play when like it's been so long since they've actually come to the side. It's really funny. Any other things we want to talk about that?
For watching?
Yeah.
And it's not like what you would think of a traditional sport, but it's dressage. Dressage is horseback riding, but it's very stylistic horse riding. So they're moving the horses like in a diagonal. And it was at the Olympics this last time they did the Summer Olympics in Paris. They had dressage there because it's competitive. It's the funniest thing to watch. But I also really like horses.
Okay, what about play? What's your favorite sport to play? Mine personally is basketball. I think it's really easy. And also, I can jog to the other side. I don't have to run as fast as I can.
So I don't really play sports. I do horseback riding, or I used to.
Oh, horseback riding is fun.
But I don't really do a whole lot of sports because I am a grad student. I just don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, what's like if you were to do any sport, which one would you do then?
Volleyball.
Yeah, volleyball is fun. Very active though.
Yep, very active. I also have to be really careful because I'm asthmatic and I have Bell's palsy, so I have a nerve disorder.
What about you? For playing a sport, what's yours?
I like to play soccer because I think it's really fun and a bit easy.
Yeah, soccer's fun. I used to like soccer, but I don't really like competitive soccer. I just like carrying the ball around, you know?
Yeah.
Because I like just walking to the ball and then kicking it, and then walking to the ball and then kicking it.
My husband plays a lot of disc golf.
Yes, but I don't know if that would be considered. But before anybody says anything like that, well, let's go into our next topic. How do you define what a sport is? But before we even go into that topic, let's look at a few different dictionaries and stuff. So for the Oxford Dictionary, an activity involving physical exertion and skill, in which an individual or team competes against one another or others for entertainment. Ella, would you like to read Merriam-Webster's definition?
A A sport is a physical activity that is done for enjoyment.
I'll read Cambridge's definition.
Cambridge.
Cambridge. A game, competition, or activity in needing a physical effort and skill that is done according to rules for enjoyment and or as a job. I think Cambridge is really cool because it's the only one that says and or as a job.
That is true.
Like NBA, it's a job.
It is a job, but it's also for other entertainment.
Yeah.
But fun fact, there are actual like nationwide competitions for disc golf.
I know.
And it's physical, just like golf is.
I know, but it's a non-traditional sport.
It is a non-traditional sport, but non-traditional sports are still sports.
I know.
They're just not mainstream sports like basketball or football, soccer.
Well, true. Football.
American football.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me American football is not a traditional sport.
Okay, the traditional sport. But Australian rules football is too.
Australian rules football is like crazy. But then again, so is rugby.
But like sometimes it's not always skill on this one. A little bit is luck and like timing. But like timing for luck.
Skill for disc golf. Okay. Bear with me for a sec. For disc golf, if it is any slightly wind, you have to know how to angle that disc to get it to go the way you want. There's different types of discs depending on how far you need to throw it. Like there is skill, it's just not skill that you would think of. It's very fine motor skill.
Okay, I guess. But what about chess? Chess requires skill and even hurt your fingers. Say it's an hour long.
So here's my question for either of you. What constitutes as physical effort? If you are under stress, your heart rate is raising. Is that physical?
Yeah.
So if it's a competition element that raises your heart rate because you're timed, that would be physical.
Yes, I'm saying it's.
Yeah.
Chess is a sport.
So chess would be a sport.
But like I know some people who say chess is a sport. Why would they say that?
So
Ella, what do you think? Why would people say chess is not a sport?
Well, I think they'd say chess isn't a sport because it doesn't usually require a lot of movement. You're just moving pieces on their board.
Yeah, but
it's a seated activity.
Yeah, it's not because some people are like basketball's a sport, and basketball you have to break into a sport. You're having to put a lot of effort into it. Or chess is not the same level, but it's a different level of effort because you're putting your mind to use, not your arms or things.
I think maybe, and this is coming from a aspect of how we define sport, of whether we define sport as a very physical activity or an intellectual sport. Because chess, I feel, is very much an intellectual sport. There's a lot of skill that goes into chess, but it's not physical skill. Whereas there's a lot of skill that goes into hockey.
Yeah.
But it's physical skill. I mean, there's not like intellectual skill for hockey as well. Because you have to anticipate what others are doing just like you do in chess. But I do think there would be a difference between a physical sport and an intellectual sport.
Yes. I think there's a big difference. And some people don't think intellectual sport. So I think that's one of the reasons why people don't think it is, because they think intellectual sports, nah, they're not a sport.
Yeah.
Okay, so for our next question, it is: should esports be considered sports? What's your feel? How do you feel about this, CJ?
It kind of goes along with the where we made a category for physical sports and intellectual sports. I think you could create a different type of category that's esports, so electronic sports, because there are major competitions for esports. I want to say, not League of Legends, maybe League of Legends.
Yeah.
They do competitions. There's international competitions for these, and you can get hurt. Like whether it's on the computer or like with a gaming console, if you're not careful, you can get things like carpal tunnel in your arm, like your wrist.
I've never had that, so.
Yeah.
But like, I think some esports wouldn't be considered a sport at all because they're purely based on luck.
Like which ones?
Well, it's hard to describe. There's some where it's just like roll a dice game and it's rigged so you lose every time, or rigged so you win. And it's like.
But that sounds more like gambling.
Yeah. So gambling is fun?
No. I think gambling is its own bundle of chaos that we won't get into.
Yeah.
But what other sports? So I don't play video games very much anymore.
Mm-hmm. But like
being
DTI,
older.
but there's some I don't know how to feel because like DTI, Just Impress.
Thank you.
Sorry, Just Impress, also known as DTI. You have other people vote you, so you have other people vote you from 1 to 5 stars, and you dress up. So it's dress up game, but I feel like it's sometimes rigged because you can give everybody 1 star.
So, but here's the thing: there is something in common that the others that we've talked about don't have, which is voting. So League of Legends, you don't vote; it's a competition, in a sense of you are trying to beat the other team based on skill.
Yeah, but I feel like some games it's like gymnastics. I would count that as a sport, and you have judges though.
Yes, but it's not open to the public to judge. From my understanding, Dress to Impress, it's anyone who's playing can vote.
Yeah, it's anybody who. Yeah.
Whereas gymnastics, you're right. It's based on what the judge's score is, and then whoever has the higher score is the champion of that competition. But that's not open to voting for spectators. And so it is different in regards. Whereas like Fortnite, you're playing against someone else, or you're playing as a team against someone else.
Not always, because there's different games in Fortnite, but like Battle Royale.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat. You're fighting against another opponent.
How about obbies? What are those games?
What?
Obbies, obstacle courses, parkour. Because like sometimes they're timed, so you have a certain time limit.
Well, is running a sport?
Depends on your definition of a sport.
If you're running in a race, is it a sport?
I personally think so.
So, if you're doing obstacle courses like American Ninja Warrior, wouldn't that be a sport? But it's a competition element. You don't necessarily vote. It's whoever has the greatest time in it or the shortest time.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's physical. It's a competition. by most of the two of the three definitions you gave, it's a competition that has some kind of physical effort. The only one it doesn't fit the same is Merriam-Webster's, where as far as a physical activity done for enjoyment. And it could. Who doesn't say American Ninja Warrior isn't fun when they're running it?
Yeah.
But that would also mean by
Obstacle.
that definition, dance would be sport.
But only, I think dance is only a sport when it's competitive.
Yeah, but according to Merriam-Webster's definition, it doesn't have to be competitive. It has to be done for enjoyment.
But what if I do basketball because it's competitive, not for enjoyment?
Okay, but what if you only played basketball for enjoyment? What if you're only shooting hoops?
I'm doing. But
what if you only kick the ball just to kick it?
It's not a sport.
Because then you're just kicking a ball.
Yeah. Well, I could kick a basketball. Am I playing basketball?
Okay, but with soccer, the primary you don't touch it with your hands in soccer. You kick it.
The goalie does.
That's different. They're meaning to block it, and that's why they do it. They also use their head in basketball.
What if I'm just playing kickball with the soccer ball? Is it soccer then?
No. I think at that point, soccer is a sport because it has rules. Regardless of physical.
Yeah, I think it has to have rules just like so.
But there's only one that says there has to have rules. Most sports do have rules.
But so like for esports, I feel like they should have rules.
They do.
Yeah, some do, some don't.
With their competition, like the competitive levels, they do have rules.
I know.
And there are rules of the game, right?
Some games are just free, do whatever you want, and have admin permission.
But they're not competition level.
True.
I mean the ones that are competition level. They have rules. They're not free for all. But if we're opening it up to esports, there is, and it's wildly cool. It's a cybersecurity competition. That's Capture the Flag.
What?
And you can work on teams. Or they might have individual too. But essentially it's you're programming and hacking in this software to capture the other team's flag. But you're hacking and it's all done on computers.
Okay, I think I might want to try that out.
Cybersecurity, capture the flag. I'm not joking. There are national competitions to get college scholarships for this.
I think I might try this out when I'm in high school.
It's wickedly cool to kind of see, but it is computer programming, not networking, but cybersecurity. So it's like it's in an effort to help those that are in that field learn to.
I think I'm gonna actually go into
protect websites and stuff or secure sites online. But they do it as a competition. It's Capture the Flag. I wouldn't necessarily think that a sport.
I would think that's what.
But like it's you're hacking stuff, and it's actually it's wickedly cool.
Because I'm thinking about going into that field already. That'd be really cool, especially because I might get a scholarship for it.
So there's a Chinese show.
I love Chinese. I know Chinese.
I know. There's a Chinese TV show called Go-Go Squid. It's about the cybersecurity capture the flag type thing. That's what they do. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I like Go-Go Squid. She's like introverted. Isn't she introverted?
No.
The police one.
No. That's Ty's show. When a snail falls in love.
Yeah.
No, Go Squid. It's about a
I've heard about this.
girl who ends up liking this guy who's into this. Like he owns.
Oh, the video game company?
Well, it's not so much a video game company, but it's a
Company.
team that does these capture the flag cybersecurity type of things. And she's a CS major. Computer science. And so it's like it's a modern TV love story, but you actually get to see these competitions. And so I looked it up more, which is how I know there are U.S. competitions that do this for college scholarships.
That's cool. I think
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, especially if I'm going into that. I'm hopefully gonna go into that field.
Yeah, cybersecurity capture the flag competitions. They're kind of cool. But you can also play capture the flag in real life.
Dude.
You just have 2 teams do it.
Sorry, Doggo. Okay, so yeah. Because that's like so I think we've overall agreed esports are sports.
Well, I think it's still a highly debated thing. I think it would have to have competition level.
I feel like we haven't heard much from Ella on this. How do you feel, Ella? On esports.
I think the sports kind of should be considered a sport, but it's usually not that physical.
Yeah, so if we were looking at some things that are like the
I think it
intellectual ones
brings
and
us
like
back to like
the
maybe we need to define sport in a way that it can have a physical sport, an intellectual sport, or a electronic digital sport.
Yeah.
And have sport be more as a competitive element that tests your skill and the rule, like a competitive element for a game or a competition that has rules and is able to test your skill.
Yeah. Is that how you feel, Ella?
And then
it's that you would like to add? Any other things that you'd like to add? Okay. Because we have a little bit of extra. Well, Mom, CJ.
Mm-hmm.
Any other things you'd like to add?
I don't know. I think when it comes to sports, it maybe is that with technology evolving and things like the intellectual sports, it probably just it's time to redefine what sport is as more of a competition that has rules and is used to test skill and then is divided further into these different subgroups of types of sports. So like a physical sport, an intellectual sport, or a digital sport. I will say this though, when it comes to esports, just because there is a difference between like League of Legends in a competition base
and
then like playing Fortnite at home, I do think there is a difference. It's like if you're playing football, for Thanksgiving with family, that's not going to be the same as playing professional or high school.
Yeah.
Or little leagues type of thing. I do think those are different. I mean, they still can be sports in a sense, but it's not the same level of competition. And I don't play chess. My husband plays chess. I don't play chess. I'm not good at chess.
I like chess.
but he does play chess quite regularly where they're timed competitions, but it's not in a sense of like a big competition. He's playing on his phone, on a mobile app, but he is playing against live people, and I think that would also need to be something that would need to be defined for esports. Of you might be playing Mortal Kombat, but are you playing against another person or bot? And I think that's going to be as technology advances, that's going to be a huge.
Like as in Just Impress or DTI, like you're playing against like people. But I feel like they should have set things in DTI and Just Impress, just where they have it. So like bots can choose, or other people can be live judges, and they're not allowed to be unfair. So that's what they can.
I also think because technology is advancing, because Ella, you had mentioned how they're not physical.
I feel like we're losing physical.
There's VR.
Oh, true.
And I know I've played against other people with Beat Saber, and that is physical.
Yeah, like 2 seconds after you play, you're like, at 2 seconds into the game, you're like drenched in sweat.
And I do think there is going to be more physicality put into it. I never read or watched Ready Player One, so I don't know if it's just like an augmented reality.
It's like,
or if it's like they're still physically moving around.
They're still physically moving around.
So I do think that's gonna definitely change with esports. I don't necessarily think it will change with like League of Legends. I don't know if it's League of Legends I'm thinking of. But there is one, and I'm going to have to look it up. There is one huge esport competition.
What's the sport? Is it League of
Legends? It might be League of Legends. That's what I think it is.
Yeah.
League of Legends. Yeah, it is League of Legends. I don't think that would necessarily ever go to a virtual reality type of thing. God, I hope not.
Like,
can you imagine those people? It would be the funniest thing to see.
Like, just see somebody in a park being
or running in place. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
Someone's got a VR headset on and they're running in place because they're playing like this first-person battle game.
That'd be funny.
It'd be
funny, Ella?
To see.
Any other things you'd like to add on to this? Anybody? Are we done with this? Okay. So for our last question, what sports do you dislike?
Well, I kind of feel bad because you said you like it. I hate basketball.
Why? It's fun.
It's boring.
It's not boring. You're shooting hoops. I love watching basketball.
If you play it, you're shooting hoops. If you're it is boring. They're just running back and forth. I don't like watching football too much.
There's a crowd to hype you up. It's a fun thing.
Do you like watching basketball?
But you can see their plays. Sorry, I interrupted. I'm sorry. But you can watch the plays like there's a man here. You want to know why there's a man here? Because they're going to do a pick and roll.
I don't even know what that is.
How about if they're I forgot. What if they're like, but this is the other team and I'm doing this so they can't get the other person, like shooting it. You don't like watching that? You don't like seeing him make a 3-pointer?
No.
You don't like free throws? You don't like them stopping each other and getting them a free throw?
No, I don't. I like baseball.
Baseball's fun.
Baseball's a social sport.
But yeah.
Do you know what I mean by social sport, Ella?
No.
What I mean by social sport is you can sit there having a conversation with the person next to you, look up, and you still know what's going on. You haven't missed much. And they're trying to make baseball a little bit faster. But it's easy to follow. Same with NASCAR. That is very
What's
physical. NASCAR is car racing.
Ooh, fun.
And that is very physical. I don't care what anyone says. That is a sport because you have to have your reflexes in top condition for racing cars.
Crash.
Yeah, because you might crash. So you have to have very, very good physical ability. Even if you're just sitting, your reflexes have to be on point.
Because you might have to jump out of the car.
But it's a social sport. It's one you can follow really easily. And if someone cannot follow NASCAR, I do not know what's wrong with them. They're going in a circle. It's like 500 times, but they're going in a circle.
So what if one accidentally goes backward? I've seen people do that.
Like they go in reverse?
No, they crash and start and just keep going.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys. What's your favorite non-traditional sport to play, to watch? Doesn't matter.
Tug of war. Actually,
and that's fine.
Actually, I don't know. Skiing is technically a non-traditional sport.
I would think skiing is traditional.
But I searched it up. It's not. Neither is American football, which I think it should be.
So wait, here's the thing. When we say traditional, how are you defining traditional? Because American football is traditional in America.
True.
It might not be for the rest of the world, because it's not, because they only play American football in America.
I feel like it's for, I think we're doing it for, like, internationally. So, like, most places do.
Baseball is an international sport.
That's what baseball is.
It's really popular in Japan.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Super popular in Japan.
Like, basketball's my favorite traditional.
Basketball's played almost.
What's your favorite non-traditional, Ella? Tug of war? Why tug of war?
Are you saying to play or to watch?
Doesn't matter. Play or watch.
Play or watch.
It's my favorite non-traditional sport to watch because it's fun to see which team.
Now, what's your favorite play? Apparently, I also looked up. Chess is a non-traditional. Chess is my favorite non-traditional. Do you like chess? Do you like hiking? Underwater hockey? Hiking, you like hiking? What do you like about hiking? Do you just like how it's physical? Like how you're getting to walk around in the views? That's my favorite thing. Yeah. Okay, because we all liked hockey for our favorite. Who knew about underwater hockey? Because I've learned recently that there's something called underwater hockey.
I'm not surprised, just because there's games like water polo.
But underwater hockey?
I mean, synchronized swimming, so why not?
Okay. Ella, Did you know there was an Olympic water hockey? Yeah. You did?
So I have one for you, which I don't think is on your list of non-traditional sports. Have you ever seen, and it used to be an Olympic sport, no longer is. It is, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's like ski dancing.
What?
So it used to be an Olympic sport where they would, kind of like figure skating, where they would do that. But
What?
it was ski dancing.
I'm gonna do that for the rest of my life.
It is the funniest thing to look up with skiing. Is it ski dancing?
Did you know there's ultimate frisbee?
Yes, I did. I
There's
have friends that played it.
It's ultimate frisbee.
Ski ballet.
Ballet? What the heck?
It was really popular for the Olympics in the 80s.
They just
It is hilarious.
But that, and then you sort of spin with your skis on.
Oh, and like, I don't know how they
Jumping
do it.
like
They
a
would
spider.
use I don't ski, the poles, the ski
Yes.
poles. They would use those to like go up and do flips, and then that is the fun. You'll have to look it up.
And then they go like
Ski
jump us
dancing.
down.
Ski ballet. I don't think you really understand what it is. Like, cause it's not like hip hop dancing.
I wish it was hip hop dancing. I could do that.
No, it's not hip hop dancing, and they're on skis. But it's very much like doing twirls and flips and yeah, ski dancing really popular in the 80s, and it was an Olympic sport for a while. I believe Germany won gold one year. I think it might have been Germany.
Did we win gold?
No, I don't think we did. Not the U.S. But yeah, ski ballet.
Wow.
It is the funniest thing.
Okay. So
Oh, I'm not joking. It's hilarious.
I'm confused because Danielle, you knew about underwater. What does underwater hockey look like?
Well, I had heard of it, but I've never
Where'd you
seen
hear of it?
Huh?
When did you hear of it?
I was with my cousins and they were talking while I was getting a tree.
Yeah, I think
Ski
it's like
joring's funny too.
Huh?
Ski joring. So if someone is on skis holding onto a rope, and that rope is being pulled. Now, depending on where you are, depends on what it's being pulled by. So it could be pulled by someone on a horse, it could be pulled by someone on a motorcycle, or it could be pulled by like someone on a snowmobile, and they're doing like jumps and stuff, like a dirt bike path, but snow. Oh, it can be really dangerous. Ski joring is, especially when it's like motorcycles and stuff, because you have one person on skis being pulled.
okay. So yeah. I didn't know. I was like yesterday old when I read about underwater hockey.
That's pretty interesting. That's one I would definitely look up.
It looked.
Well, they have underwater scooters
What?
for like scuba diving, but they're scooters. You go in, dive in, and then it's like this bubble you can put your head in and be underwater. They have them in Hawaii.
Okay.
They're pretty cool.
Do you know that there was extreme croquet?
Extreme croquet,
Yeah. That's croquet.
which it's a French word, so et at the end
Oh, okay.
is croquet.
I gotta listen to the person who knows French. You know French.
Vaguely. Well, yeah, not well, but yes. But I definitely know E.T. makes it a sound. Croquet.
Okay.
Just like the French building a chalet, which is CHALET. E.T. makes it a sound.
See,
Chalet.
I found out there's this thing. Think of it. So you know how there's cross country, like cross country and track.
Skiing? Yeah, and track, yeah.
There's cross country skiing. I know cross country.
I know someone you should talk to about that.
Anything? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's sled racing.
Yeah, sounds crazy.
But so you know how we were talking about obbies. So parkour, obbies, like obbies, but parkour is like IRL.
So,
It's not.
there's a movie when girls get old enough. I think it's PG-13. It's a foreign film, so like their rating is slightly different. It's got a lot of parkour in it. And this is from when I was like in high school, right? It's called Barrier B13. It's a French film. At one point, he is running, and this shows you about parkour, right? He is running and like swings himself up through a narrow window.
I've seen people like jump roofs and
yeah. No, parkour is really, really popular, especially in France.
And difficult.
Very difficult.
I
knew people in high school that would do parkour. Anytime we went to the park. That's all they did. Just run around. And jump around
I love doing parkour. I do parkour.
Yeah, but you don't do flips.
I do flips on the equipment. Like this, they help the flips.
Well, I meant like they're running and jumping off like an edge because it drops down and they flip and then continue running. Like I know people that do parkour hardcore.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, there's this really funny thing called cheese rolling. Did you hear about cheese rolling? Yeah. Do you know what it looks like? If not, I will explain it.
I've heard that you roll it down a hill or something.
Yeah, so you roll a cheese hint or a cheese roll. But you have this little stick and you try to slow it down. That's spinning around the stick.
How do you twist?
It's just a wooden stick or something. You're just like.
So, cheese rolling, there's a wheel of cheese.
Yeah.
And you get it rolling on the width of it.
Yeah.
So it's going like this, and then you get it to go down the hill, and then you race it to the bottom of the hill. Which I don't know why you would race a wheel of cheese.
I've seen people where they try slowing it down with the stick.
It's kind of like curling. I don't understand curling.
Me neither. That's why I don't.
It's an Olympic sport. I don't understand it.
Shouldn't cheese rolling be a sport?
No, with curling, it's like you're trying to get the rock to a certain spot, like a target. But like it's a competition, so you're trying to knock the other teams out of the way with yours staying there. But then you have people who like will get it to go like they're brushing the ice to get the rock to go or to slow down. It is the weirdest thing. I don't understand.
Is it supposed to be hard?
I don't know, but I do know it's an Olympic sport, so you can look it up and watch it. It's a winter sport.
So, do we have anything to say about the topics that we've done today? Yeah, oh, I forgot to tell you about this. This is apparently a traditional sport. It's called camel racing.
Middle East and Africa.
Really? Yeah.
Middle East.
You just race on a camel, but horseback riding.
Yeah, but if you're looking at internationally,
True.
camels are very, very useful in many, many parts of the world.
Oh, true.
So if you're not looking at the US and you're just looking internationally or even at other countries, I think that's going to tell you where you're looking, right? So if you're looking in the US, American football is definitely a traditional sport. But if you're looking at Africa, so Egypt or the Middle East, yeah, you're going to look at camel racing and be like, yes. Or if you're looking at fiction, Star Wars pod racing is a huge thing. So I think it really depends on like the context you're looking in is going to definitely change it.
Yeah, true. Like sumo, it wouldn't be in the US.
Be in Japan.
Yeah.
But we do have wrestling. We just don't have sumo wrestling. The same popularity like they do in Japan. We also have WWE wrestling, which is all scripted. So that would change too.
Yeah. Like even when they slap each other in the face, it's just scripted with their hair.
I can't tell if you're knocking WWE or if it's just like don't understand the theatrics of it.
Yeah.
I grew up watching WWE Raw Monday Night Wrestling. And you're right, it's very, very dramatic, theatrical, scripted. Not like wrestling matches for high school where they're actually wrestling
It's just like slapping each other
on a mat. Or they're taking a folding chair and hitting someone over the head with it. Because that happens in WWE Raw too.
Wow.
But it's hilarious. I don't necessarily consider WWE a sport the same because it is really scripted.
Yeah, I think it when I even go into non-traditional sports, it's just not a sport at all.
Wrestling, I would consider a sport.
Yeah.
And that one I probably actually would consider traditional in multiple countries. I think a lot of countries wrestle. And partly that's just a way to exhibit. I mean, ancient Greek had wrestling. Ancient Greek. That's a language. Ancient Greece had wrestling. But I do think, depending on where you're looking at, it's definitely going to change what's traditional or not.
Do you have anything else? Anything else? Looks like you might have something.
No.
Anything.
Nope.
On anything about sports. Okay. Well,